Good morning, YouTube. It is I, Danielle, better known as Danielle, a happy medium. And it's been a little while. I think the last upload I did was last week. I have been, unfortunately, a very busy lady, so thank you very much for watching. And thank you to everybody who's been subscribing, chatting on the channel, commenting, sharing the videos around. I'm eternally grateful. But in this video, up for discussion today, and off the back of a conversation I had yesterday with some girls out in the States, we're going to look at the same loved ones in communications and how I can show you a better way to broaden your range. I couldn't even get my words out there, so apologies for that. Broaden your communicational range in order so that you can look to bring more than just mums and dads, grandmas, granddads, and all these things that I see so readily across platform work or within the sitting work. So let's get straight to it. So most people will more or less, when they're doing communications, bring mums, or for you out in the States, mums, and dads, or dads, I think it's the same in the States as well as it is here, your grandparents, all these very easy, what we call easy communicators. Now, there's nothing wrong with these, nothing at all, and we really do need to still keep bringing these communicators through. But what we have to understand is that most of the time these communicators will have been through on more than one occasion. So i.e. for every medium that's done a rostrum work, mum and dad, especially when we look at the sitter. So here's the sitter in the congregation. Most mediums will look at this particular person, 50 plus, and think, well, mum's going to be in the spirit world or dad's going to be in the spirit world. It's a common fact, or at least a grandparent, which straight away you're going to get a link. You're going to get some kind of hit or some kind of communication. And what happens is when we're first starting out, we're quite nervous, or we're very fear-based, or we haven't quite got that relationship with the spirit world, or we don't quite know what we're doing there. So what we tend to do is we'll always go with the easy, what we call the easy communicators. Now, like I say, there's nothing wrong with these, and especially if we're packing in good evidence. But if we're not packing in good evidence, it's going to be quite generalised. It's not going to really get you where you want to be, and it's certainly not going to broaden that range, which is ultimately what we want. Because on demonstrations of mediumship, and I watch a lot across the UK, I go all over just watching different mediums, not critiquing or looking. I'm just interested. Plus I like her message myself. I have loved ones in the spirit world, and I really do like to hear what my loved ones have got to say. And us working mediums or professional mediums, we never normally get any messages. Even when we're training students and stuff, it tends to be more for the people within the room. So I tend to like to go and watch demonstrations, one, to see how the mediums are working, two, because I genuinely want a message myself. But what I do see, and what I have seen with my students, or with the particular mediums in the congregation, they're tending to work or go straight for these communicators because they're easy, or because they're not frightened to push that parameter or push that boundary for fear of being wrong. Now, first and foremost, what we have to look at here is how much you as the medium's work have you done? How much development have you done as a person? If you've done quite a bit of the self-development and the, ordinary natural development of your mediumship, which is working with the spirit world and getting you into the best place possible, next we need to be taking a look at your mediumship and your mediumship development. And from this, what we need to do, as many of you know on this channel, I tend to work a lot with the spirit world. I do theory-based mediumship, and I do other bits of mediumship as well. But the majority of my knowledge comes from the spirit world. In fact, I would say a good 90% of it. Bits and pieces I've picked up over the years, but 90% of my knowledge is coming in from the spirit world, which is my guides. So when I wanted to look at different communicators, now, when I first started out, as all of you are here, I did very much this. Why? Because I was still learning. I didn't understand everything. I didn't know where I wanted to be. I was sort of a little bit fear-based. I was a new medium with lots of different sensory systems going off. And because I didn't understand my mediumship as well as I do now, I started staying here with mums, dads, grandparents, you know, and sort of got that little old granny in with a grey hair and, you know, was given descriptions and all these types of things because it was comfortable, it was where I felt safe, I was happy with that. But as my mediumship's progressed and as I've moved down the path, I've learned that I can now look to find different communicators. Now that didn't happen by chance, that happened by going to the spirit world. I went to the spirit world and said, look, I'm interested in broadening this clear range, I'm looking to broaden my communications, I'm looking to broaden my knowledge. Can we look at different sets of communicators? And all of a sudden, within about 4 or 5 weeks, I started to get through young lads and young girls, all sort of, you know, who had passed in a little bit different way. So people who had maybe gone over to the spirit world by the hand of another, which is a murder link, or they had, you know, taken their own life, or a suicide link. So there was a lots of different sort of formats starting to come in. Now at first my mind didn't quite get it. It took my mind about maybe 3 to 4 months to sort of get a grip of what was going on. But because I'd asked for it from the spirit world, they had started to deliver it. They were still bringing these communicators through, but they'd started to add these in. Now what I don't see, and I do a lot of demonstration work, and like I say, I watch demonstration mediums all over, I'm not seeing enough of children who have been unwell, or Down syndrome children, or Down syndrome adults, or children with special needs, or mental health issues, where it's more expansive, not so much with the connection to, you know, taking their own lives or anything like this, where it's an extension of, you know, what went on within the mental institution or the mental heart at the home. I'm not saying enough variety, if this makes sense. And what I need to get over to you is by going to the spirit world and asking to work different communicators. Now, what we have to understand is most of yous will not have a great deal of knowledge in this area, or some of yous may, and you may be able to do these communicators better than you can other communicators. Why? Because the knowledge is already within your mind, it's life experience, spirit world's losing the memories, it's going to get you up and on your feet. But for them who haven't, what's probably going to happen is these communicators start to come in, or children who are Down syndrome, or children with special needs, or disabled children, or disabled adults, or whatever it may be. What you will find is it'll have bits and pieces of blanks in. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Remember, you're going to be testing this out within, you know, your open circles or your online circles, or within the friends and family sort of scenario. But what you're doing is you're adding knowledge. Now, when you're adding knowledge and doing these communicators, you may get a first time. If you do, good on you, you know, well done. I'm well impressed, you know. I can't root any more for that. But for those who aren't getting it that time, or there's bits sort of missing, or you can't quite get it, it's not that your mind's restricting it. It's not that it's not there from the spirit world. It's just you don't have the knowledge to be able for the spirit world to wrap around that memory to be able to pull it to the forefront. So let me give you an example of this. I did a reading about 8-9 months ago with a particular individual on a private sitting. And of that private sitting was a gentleman who come forward who was a father. It was a daughter in front, and he was talking about, and I'd seen the grave, and I'd seen the man who was digging the grave. So I thought, right, I've got a gentleman here who was a grave digger, which you could accept and take. But then he showed me an outhouse. And on the bottom of the outhouse was babies lined up, but there were babies who were born asleep. Now, I couldn't understand what he was trying. I thought he would, you know, be obviously because he was a grave digger, he dug the graves for the young children. But here, when it all come to all, there was a lot more to that story. But because I'd never been in that situation, nor have I ever spoken to anybody about that connection or them sort of incidences, I couldn't quite place it. Now, when I do a demonstration, do you know what they bring through? Or they bring through that experience again. They bring that memory to my mind of the sitting that I once did. And this is where I'm talking about, where you might not have all of the knowledge straight away to do these communicators. If you do them over time, practice, you will become very good at them. You will instill the knowledge or the memories within your mind, which is the subconscious. So when you're doing these communicators or rostrums or private sittings or whatever it may be, the spirit world will just go in, fire that memory off, and it will take you straight in, go, right, I've got this gentleman here, and this gentleman would have been a gravedigger, etc., etc., etc. So I know now that when that memory comes in, it's not identical, but it gives me a basis to start with so that I can then give the story of the different communicator, but the similarities of the other communicator who once come through, which is all I need to be able to keep giving my story when I'm doing my demonstrational works of mediumship. So what we need to really be doing here in order to get new communicators through, we need to be asking the spirit world to help us out, asking them to line them communicators up, because they will be there. They will be there within the spirit world. Most of us will go here because it's safe, but these communicators are here, and we can find them and we can work them to the best of our ability, as we are at this present time with your mediumship. As we do more of them, it'll get better, which then means then once you've got these sort of in a good place, you can start looking at the children. You know, maybe looking at, you know, different ways in which that they passed, in order so that you can then inbuild that knowledge. So then your knowledge skill set within this formula becomes really, really strong. So when you're doing these types of communications, it starts to flow. Now, what I have to say to people, and what I really want to get over to you is, somebody said something to me a long time ago and it stuck with me. There's many of us in the spirit world who have been looking for people for X amount of years, 25 years, sometimes longer. Most people won't touch the likes of children, disabled adults, special needs children, for fear of getting it wrong on a public demonstration of mediumship or within a private sitting. What you have to ask yourself is, am I really wanting to get it wrong, or can I try for that? Because 3 or 4 pieces of evidence for mum, dad, or anybody who's been looking for that communication and they can't find it. I would rather give it a bash and not get it completely perfect than not try for it at all, and at least give mum something than nothing. And as a medium, you should be asking yourself that question. It's not about where you sit or how right or wrong you get it. Mum might only need them 3 bits, or dad might only need them 3 bits, which is enough comfort. They've been looking for the last 25 years for some kind of communication. Nobody's bringing that communication. That's got to be more soul destroying than you not getting it completely right. So in this video, bear that in mind. So in this video, get to the spirit world. Start changing your communicators. Start asking the spirit world to bring them forward, which will improve your communicational range. Even if you don't get it right, even if you get some of it right, you're still instilling knowledge. So next time you do it, you get a bit better. Then you get a bit better. Then you get a bit better. If you get, like I say, if you get it right first time, well done. I'm proud of you. But if you don't, keep practicing, keep at it, keep going to the spirit world saying, look, give me more, give me different communicators, give me different passings, give me different evidence, help me to build this knowledge range. They will help you. And remember, it's vitally important that you try, even if you don't get it right, for the mums and dads who've been waiting that long, just for that little bit. So I've been Danielle, better known as Danielle the Happy Medium. There'll be another upload up on Friday. Take good care of yourselves, you know, with love from me in the spirit world. You know, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.